Hello and welcome to the podcast from Stress to Success Blueprint. I'm your host, Lolita Guarin. Today's episode 219, and we are continuing conversation about the holidays and stress and burnout. How can we keep ourselves energized and happy through all of this holiday season? I'm not talking about handling people and those stresses, okay? But today I want to be specifically touching on simplifying traditions. Did that trigger you like right away? Because, well, traditions, it has to do a lot of rules and regulations and generational trauma, I would say, because traditions pretty much means that there's something that being continued doing over and over and over time and is being passed through generations. Well, somebody can have tradition with themselves, right? That they just continue doing that. I think when it comes to traditions, especially holiday traditions, there's no more questioning about does it serve us. It's like no brainer. We have to do it. So first, let's just address the triggers. If that triggered you, the word tradition, and I tell you, the holiday seasons was always very stressful for me because there was a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of fighting, a lot of family time that you're supposed to get together. It was not happening when it was happening, loss of blame and shame and all of that. So as a child, I learned hated holidays. I was like, oh my gosh, can I just go to sleep? And for the whole month of December, just sleep and then wake up, back in January and not have to deal with anyone. So why those traditions are always just being kept and not questioned? Well, because that's how we do things, right? We're humans. And we do follow traditions because, and we're afraid to question it, because it has to do with fear of abandonment. It's people pleasing, pretty much. That's how it is. And when my family migrated to US, there was a new holiday on the calendar for us called Thanksgiving. And obviously, I'm from Lithuania. We do not celebrate Thanksgiving. So that was something new. And we just kind of said, okay, well, you do as Romans do when you're in Rome, right? So we're like, okay, we're gonna do have Thanksgiving. And so new dishes were introduced, and we have to learn. And I mean, I love cooking, so I like different dishes and introduced to my own, to my new repertoire, which was great. But you get to the point where you start realizing that those holidays and traditions is really causing so much stress because we feel like we have to really, really follow them. So that's what I want to talk about today, about simplifying traditions. And obviously, I can talk for hours about that, but I will touch base on three main things here and three areas really that we can simplify. Simplifying that doesn't mean that you like totally not doing traditions at all. So it's kind of like a happy medium where you feel like you cannot do it all because it's too stressful. And if you will not do it at all, then you feel, well, very, very guilty because how could you do this to us? So that's mean being somewhere in the middle. So the first thing that I want to talk about is really looking in those traditions that has to do with the actual tradition of like, okay, every winter, every Christmas we need to go to my aunts, and then every Thanksgiving we need to go to my grandpa and to my sisters and all of this. Maybe it's already too late for holiday seasons to think that way, but just make yourself a list or think about it and like, okay, where do I usually go? What gatherings I usually go to that I feel I have to go, or else most of the time in those gatherings, even like companies holidays parties or whatever, or meeting up with friends, there are other people involved. So the worst what can happen, they will just not gonna pay attention that you're gone or like you didn't even show up. If you feel like you don't want to go to, you just tell them, I have way too much going on right now, so I don't think I can make it to your party. And everybody will get it. Because guess what? Everybody's on the same boat. You just need to open up your mouth and say, hey, I'm just not going to do that. Okay, so that's an extreme, right? But simplifying traditions also has to do with how many of those steps do you need to really do? And then question yourself, well, can I not do some things? What will happen? Probably nobody will die. I don't know what traditions you're following, but traditions I'm following for holiday seasons is supposed to be just hanging out with people and eating a lot and talking nonsense. Or we can watch Netflix for the whole day. Those are my traditions in my family. I don't know if they're yours, but as long as nobody gets hurt, why not simplify them? Simplify them. right? So those steps that, oh, we're supposed to go there, we're supposed to do this, really make a list and ask yourself, do I really need to do this? Is my family really need to do this? Can we just do less of that? We can do it, but less, you know? Ask that yourself. Now, number two, food. Oh my gosh. So, look, I'm from Lithuania. We have Christmas Eve special dinner and it includes 12 dishes. You need to have 12 dishes. And all of this cannot be anything like animal products. So no eggs, no pork, no milk, nothing. It has to be like fish and vegetables. I'm pretty sure that's very pagan. Traditions. And even, there were times that it will be only me, my mom, and my dad, and we'll continuously doing those 12 dishes. You know how much food is that? That's a lot of food. And then we have to eat for 5 days or whatever. And then it's like, well, we feel so guilty, we have to throw it away. So ask yourself, those traditions, it has to do with food. Do you really need to cook so much? And how about if you have people that will be coming in, you just tell them, you bring the sweet potatoes, you bring the peas, you bring the bread, and make like a potluck kind of thing experience. You don't have to cook it all. You don't have to do it all. And if you feel like you do have to do it all, ask yourself, how is that serving you? Because probably there is some sort of shame, some sort of weakness, or there's something that you are afraid to show yourself. Like, no, I'm gonna do this all because nobody can do it for me. People can go to the store and buy a piece of bread. Trust me, they can. So it's really up to you. How much of that food do you really need to cook? Or how much food do you want to eat? And I touched on food and healthy habits on the previous episode. So I highly recommend you go check it out. There were some great tips in there. So yeah, think about about those dishes and the food that you need to create, cook and bring, and you got it. Okay. So the last tip that kind of like the last area is can be very, very stressful. It's about gift giving. Um, especially if you have a very big family, that can be very financially stressful because it's like, oh my gosh, I don't have money. And then you have like, I don't care about the money, but I have no idea what to give them. You can give them my books or my sessions. Just saying. But if you don't know what to give to those people, or you have way too many people to give and not enough of money and all of this, just have a secret Santa. Or have a white elephant game. That way everybody will be happy to participate and will be fun and will be good experience. You know, think about that. Also, maybe you can agree with the family members there's going to be everything under some amount of money. So there will be no competition of, well, I just spent $500 on you and you give me only $20 gift card. Come to some conclusions that here are the rules for everyone and just simplify it. And you know what I did for Christmas quite a few years now with my parents? We do not give we do not give gifts to each other anymore for holidays. Because, well, it's like, why would I go and spend some money or give them something that they don't even need? Or they now will be enjoying it at all. And then I have to put myself to stress of thinking, what am I going to buy? So we agreed a few years back we will have no gifts at all. And that it's such a great thing. I don't have to stand in lines. I don't have to go to the mass of people figuring out what is my mom or my dad wants. And it's hard to give gifts to people that they already have everything or they can afford everything. So think about it. What about those people that have that tradition of giving gifts? Maybe you just have a conversation, say, hey, how about we're gonna bring one gift and then we're just gonna give it to the person to the right. So there are plenty of ways. But all of this, if you're still here, thank you so much for listening. The question to you is, how many of those tips and tricks and those simplifying tradition action steps are you going to take? And I can guarantee you this. If you will be the first who will start with your friends, with your coworkers, neighbors, and family, whatever, and you say, hey, how about we simplify things? I bet there will be a lot of people that say, oh my God, thank God somebody said that. Oh, yes, let's do this. And actually feel the holiday spirit, which just means enjoying company, enjoying activities you do, hanging out with people, the true spirit of holidays. Then you can celebrate in less stress of just running around the house like crazy and trying to people please and spending money and cooking and all this. You can simplify that. Now, don't get me wrong. If you say that, are you kidding me? This is the best time of the year. You do you. This video is for those who are stressed out to do all those traditions. If you're happy, if you're thriving, that's your jam, of course, continue doing that and spread the joy. But if you're thinking like there's some areas in your life that you can simplify that has to do with the holidays, do that. And I tell you, when you start doing that, other people start doing that too. So we'll be more stressed out and happier individuals and healthier as well. So I'm just wondering, did any of this ring a bell? Are you planning on implementing any tips and taking any action? I would like to hear it in the comments below.